1.
Ashura? Misty asked from the doorway. Yeah, I replied. Yesterday's battle had gone pretty well. From what I could tell, there had been only one casualty from both sides combined, and that had taken place after the battle itself. There's someone at the gate, she said. It wants to see you. Alone. Who? She didn't answer me. Why won't you? I think it would be best if you went down to see for yourself, she said quietly. We'll see about that, I growled. I teleported myself to the gate. It didn't take me very long to find out who I was looking for. The sight of that creature stopped me cold. I landed in shock, making us eye to eye. Pikachu looked at me disapprovingly, but all I could do was stare. You came back, but not because you wanted forgiveness. You came back because you're angry at me. Why are you angry at me? Why is everyone angry at me? Why can't they see that I'm only trying to help? Pikachu, join me again. Please, so I won't have to hurt you. Please. Ash, he began. Ash? No. Ash is dead. Don't call me that! I shouted in a sudden rage. Don't call me anything! I'm not your trainer anymore. I'm not Ash. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. We're enemies! I blasted everything around me with a wave of pure energy. Pikachu was pushed backwards, and I even heard the walls of the city tremble. Pikachu picked himself up and stared at me with wide eyes. What? I pointed at him angrily. I let go of self-control. I needed to get all this out. You changed everything when you decided to leave. If you'd really been trustworthy, you would have stayed with me to help fix things. But no, you're no different from anyone else. When things stop going the way you want them to, you just change sides. You back out on your friends. I thought that we were friends, Pikachu. I thought that you and I would always be together. But that can't happen anymore because of what you did. This is the last time that I will say, goodbye, Pikachu. It's time for you to go. Ash, don't! I flew up quickly and fired. The attack hit with a boom and dust filled the air. When it cleared, I saw that I had made a crater 5 times the size of Pikachu, but it had missed Pikachu by over an inch. Pikachu cautiously peered up at me. He seemed as surprised as I was. How did I miss? I breathed. Ash! I growled. That won't happen again! I fired 3 more consecutive blows, each more powerful than the last. After the dust settled, Pikachu was surrounded by a small ring of large craters, but was unhurt, just dusty. That's impossible! I yelled. How could all those attacks miss? Pikachu sat up and looked at me with sad eyes. Ash! Stop calling me that, I warned. What are you going to do about it? You can't touch me. I can, and I will! I landed in front of him again and aimed carefully. This is a straight shot at close range. There's no possible way I can miss. Ash, you don't have to... I blasted away as hard as I could. As I finished the attack, I could see it traveling over the plain. Pikachu was out of sight, so I smiled at the thought that I had finally finished it. This is a good thing, right? For some reason, I couldn't shake that doubt, and it made me uneasy. Did I do the right thing? I must have, right? Right? I looked up again and saw that the blast had worn itself out. A yellow beast far from me slowly stood up. What? I cried in disbelief. I knew Pikachu was strong, but that was just ridiculous. He ran back to me, and I didn't hesitate to meet him halfway. Ash! You're supposed to be dead! I yelled. If you wanted to kill me, I'd be dead by now. I do want you dead. I landed in front of Pikachu, torn with my frustration. I don't think you do. You wouldn't kill me, would you? I will! I screamed. I will! Just you wait. I'll kill you! Pikachu stepped up towards me. I shot another blast at him. It moved him back an inch, but it didn't hurt him at all. Why won't you die? I whispered. Pikachu looked into my eyes sadly. Because I love you. You lie! Stop lying to me! I'm not lying! Yes, you are! You've been lying to me from the start! There's no reason why I should trust you! There's no reason why I shouldn't kill you! But you won't. I took a deep breath. Only because I can't. I glared at Pikachu hatefully. Instead, I'll just force you to come back. But you won't be the same. You'll just be like everyone else, under my complete control. What? I reached out to Pikachu's mind, just as I had with so many others. But this time it was different. It was as if something was blocking my way. I couldn't get in there. I couldn't get into his head. What is this? What is wrong with you? What? Wrong with me? I don't need your attitude any more than I need you. If I can't kill you, and I can't make you useful, then I'll just get rid of you. I aimed a teleport at Pikachu. The light surrounded him, but refused to fill him. Again, it was as if something was blocking the way. I won't fail! This time! Ash, don't do this! It took all the strength I had, but I finally succeeded. The shimmering light engulfed Pikachu, and in a second he was gone, sent to an island far away. To make sure he would never escape, I brought up a barrier around the entire island, both to stop Pikachu from leaving and anyone else from entering. There, Pikachu. Live a long life. Live a life of hurt. And die without anybody nearby to help you through it, just as your master before you. I opened my eyes, not realizing I had closed them. My fists were balled up, and my throat was choked. I felt sick. What is this? Am I sad? Impossible. Pikachu betrayed me first. I only did what I had to. It's not my fault that I couldn't be merciful and end his life quickly. I only had one choice in order to get him out of my way, because if he refuses to die, then nothing can protect him from life. I fled to the tower, the balcony, my room, where I could be alone with this feeling. I won't be sad. I won't cry, because that means you're weak, and the weak part of me is dead. I will stay strong. When I saw who were on the balcony, I nearly exploded in rage. Misty was there, as well as Richie, and Sparky. The first time I'd seen them together, after Pikachu had left, I got so angry that I attacked Sparky out of spite and knocked him out with one hit. Then I explained my actions to Richie by ordering him never to come near me again with that Pikachu within 20 feet of him. On the balcony that day, Sparky was sitting right next to him. They were talking to Misty about nothing. The whole scene just filled me with more anger than I'd ever felt before. In that moment, I don't even think it was the disease that was fueling my hate. What are you doing? I screamed, and shot at the two of them with all of my hate and sorrow put together into one mighty blow. Misty wasn't hurt, but she had to grab onto the railing to keep from being blown off. Richie and Sparky flew together into the room and crashed into the far wall. It barely withstood the force of their collision. It cracked into countless different pieces and kept a large indentation. It was a wonder that it didn't collapse altogether. I quickly followed the two of them inside. They were both badly injured. Richie looked like he was in a lot of pain, but Sparky had been knocked unconscious. Nevertheless, they were still together, and I wouldn't calm down until they were separated, in any way possible. As I prepared to land the final blow, Richie moved painfully to look at me. Ashura, he whispered. I knew that the separation of the syllables wasn't because of his pain, but rather because in his moment of desperation, he had forgotten who he was talking to. Please, don't do it. I made the black sphere larger and darker. Sparky is a good Pokemon! Sparky can help us win! That's exactly why he must die. In the last second when I fired, I think Sparky came too. All the worse for him. His death wasn't painless. Both Richie and Misty seemed to go into shock when they realized what I had done. I let them leave without a word to or from either of them. When Richie made a move to take Sparky with him, one glare was all it took to stop him, and then they were on their way. I sent the body to the same hill where Lugia had died. I didn't cry. I refused to feel any sadness. I simply took into account that Sparky was no longer alive, and simply left it at that. I don't know if Umbreon knew about what had happened. At any rate, he didn't bring it up that night, but I had something slightly different on my mind. A sparkling. The night air was cool, relaxing, but not enough for my restless mind. Umbreon? I began hesitantly. He cocked his head in surprise. I guess he wasn't used to me being anything but bold. Have you ever had to lose somebody close to you because you weren't so close anymore? You know, had a best friend who became your enemy without any warning? I felt a sudden wave of sadness from Umbreon. From that feeling, I knew that he had. I glanced over at him and saw him staring up at the star-filled sky. Yes, Ashura. Yes, I have. Can I ask who? Umbreon ducked his head to stifle a tear. My sister. I had never even thought of the fact that Umbreon had a family. My curiosity had been breached, through shock. Your sister? I asked quietly. Yes, she belonged to May. May's Espeon was Umbreon's sister? I'm sorry. It wasn't your fault. He stood up suddenly and backed towards the door. Good night. He left the balcony as swift as a shadow. Good night. That night, Nikiro contacted me in a dream, for the first and last time since the disease came to me. So, this is how it's all going to end. It may seem to be the ending to you, but this is only the beginning. Ash, Ashura, the both of you, how could you do this? How is this even possible? It's very easy for me to do this, but Ash isn't doing anything at all. He's dead, remember? He doesn't have to suffer anymore. But what about you? Me? I'm doing all this because it's best for everyone. Those that can't put up with it won't have to. Those that can will benefit from it. It's as simple as that. And what about you? What will you gain from this? I'll gain nothing but the knowledge that no one else in the world will ever feel pain. No one else will ever end up like me. And you're doing this by killing anyone who fights you and controlling the rest? It's the only way. Everyone in this world, both human and Pokemon, cannot be trusted. If they can think for themselves, then that's all they'll think about. That's when the betrayal starts. And the pain. I'm going to take away pain by getting rid of the cause. The very people that become pained. You're causing pain yourself. Why don't you try to stop yourself? Because after I'm done, no one will remember the pain they feel now. It will all be worth it, because they won't feel pain any longer. I will take care of that for them. But it won't hurt me. I am not weak like them. I can't be hurt. Very well then. There is nothing I can do to stop you, I suppose. Goodbye, Ashura. And Ash. Where are you going? Nikiro? The first thing I did the next morning was call Misty to my room. She still looked shaken about the incident the day before, but tried to hide it. Yes? She finally asked. Where is Nikiro? He's not in his room? No, he's not. Where is he? I don't know. I thought he... Well, find out where he is! Yes, sir. She backed out of the room and scuffled off to find what I wanted. She returned after a while, looking scared. Well? No one knows, she quavered. He was in there last night, but now he's not. Then where did he go? All right, I'll just find him myself. I teleported myself away from the tower. I didn't feel like bothering with Misty at the moment, and I needed to think. There were a lot of places Nikiro could have gone. I checked them off one by one in my mind. He could have gone to join Mewtwo, but he knows that it's pointless to fight me. Maybe he went to gather whoever he can and bring them to a safe place? No, that doesn't make sense. He said goodbye to me, though, so he's gone. Somewhere. But where? As I floated aimlessly over the hill, it suddenly became clear to me. The hill. Lugia! I pointed myself in that direction and let the wind take me there. Nikiro, you fool. Does duty really mean that much to you? I found Lugia's body easily. I almost wished that I hadn't. It was a couple of days old already and wasn't a pretty sight. As I tried to ignore it, I saw something else by his head. A small white ball. Nikiro. He was curled up next to Lugia and wasn't moving. As I got closer, it became more and more obvious that he was dead. Nikiro, why did you do that? I thought I was the only one allowed to kill anyone. You weren't supposed to die. I landed next to him. I didn't feel any sadness, just pity for a dead fool. As I stood there, my pity quickly turned to anger, and I kicked him. He barely budged at the jab. You really are dead. You really are a fool. It serves you right, I guess. I guess this new way of life is too much for you, huh? Maybe you wouldn't have survived in it anyway. Either way, I hope you're happy now. I scowled at him one last time and flew back to the tower.